A lot of people hire for software automation end up feeling more confused after the project starts. That is a bad sign. They were hoping for more relief, they were hoping for more clarity, they were hoping for something that made the business feel lighter. Instead, they got vague updates, too much technical language, unclear scope, more moving parts, a project that feels somehow heavier than the problem they started with. In this video, I want to talk about what hiring me for a software automation project should feel like, because I think this matters. People do not need just code, they need a process they can trust. They need somebody who can actually help make the business feel clearer instead of adding another layer of confusion. The first thing it should feel like is clarity. You should understand what we're trying to solve. You should understand where the friction is. You should understand what the version is supposed to do. You should understand what success looks like. You should not feel like you're getting dragged through a black box where things are happening, nobody can explain them clearly. That is not the kind of project I want to run. The next thing is it should feel like relief. The project should make the problem feel lighter. Not all at once, maybe pretty quickly. You should feel like the mess that the mess is being named. The flow is getting clearer, the bottleneck is being defined. The random pressure is starting to turn into a real plan. That matters a lot because a lot of people come into technical projects already carrying too much context, too many manual steps, too little fires, too many things, depending on memory, too many pain points where the team keeps getting stuck. The process should feel like somebody is helping hold the structure with you, not just asking for you for more and more while the core problem stays blurry. Another thing is that it should feel like honesty. The business does not need a giant custom app, yet I should say that. If the real issue is process cleanup first, I should say that. If the answer is a small automation instead of a huge build, I should say that. If version 1 needs to stay tight, I should say that. That is the part of doing good work, because a lot of bad technical projects get bigger before they get clearer. That usually happens when nobody's willing to narrow the scope and protect the real goal. I care a lot about that part. I want a system to match the pressure point. I do not want to build extra just because extra sounds impressive. It should also feel like that business is being understood in real language. I care about the actual flow, where things start, where they slow down, where they get dropped, where the customer feels friction, where the team gets confused, where one person is carrying too much of the business in their head. That is level 1 to understand first, because once that is clear, the technical side gets a lot clearer. Now the build has a job, the automation has a reason, the software is solving something real. That changes everything. It should also feel steady, not rushed, not chaotic, not like 10 big promises got made in 1 week and now everybody is trying to catch up onto the fantasy. Steady matters. The clear scope matters. Clear priorities matter. Version 1 matters, because when a project is steady, you can actually trust what is being built. You can see the decisions connect to the real problem. You can tell whether the system is getting closer to the useful or just getting bigger. I also think a good project should feel understandable. You should not need to be too technical to follow the logic. You should know, here's the bottleneck, here's the flow, here's what we're fixing first, here's what this part does, here's what we can wait on, here's what success looks like. That kind of communication matters a lot, because people lose trust fast when a technical project turns into a wall of words they cannot connect back to the business. When I work on a software automation project, the process in my head usually goes something like this. First, I try to understand the current flow. What is happening now? Where does the request start? Where does the information move? Where does work pile up? Where does the team lose clarity? Where does the customer experience get rough? After, I want to find the real bottleneck. What part is constraining the flow the most? What part keeps creating the same pain every week? What part creates the most relief if it gets fixed? Then I want to define success. What changes if this works? Faster response, cleaner visibility, less manual effort, better handoffs, better customer experience, less memory-based work. That gives the project a target. After, I want to narrow the version 1. What has to be true for this to create value? What is the core? What supports trust? What can wait? That part matters because a lot of people start with too much. Too much creates drag fast. Then I want to build in a way that makes sense, systems easier to trust, clear movement, cleaner states, better visibility, stronger follow through, less random effort, more useful structure. That is what I want the end result to feel like. I also think that it helps to say that it should not feel like, it should not feel vague, it should not feel like you're paying for a bigger mess, it should not feel like every conversation creates 3 new ideas with no clear direction. It should not feel like a solution is getting decided by whatever sounds clueless that day. It should not feel like the real problem is still hiding underneath all the new tech. That is not good work. Good work creates more clarity as it moves. Good work helps a better business breathe a little easier. Good work makes the next steps easier to understand. When I think about what hiring me for a software automation project should feel like, I keep coming back to this. You should feel heard clearly. You should feel like the real problem is being named. You should feel like there is a plan. You should feel like the scope makes sense. You should feel like the system is being built and it actually has a job. You should feel like the business is getting lighter instead of heavier. That is the standard I care about, because software and automation should support real work. They should remove friction. They should improve movement. They should reduce stress. They should help people trust the process more. If a project is doing that, you can feel safe. Even before everything is finished, you can feel that confusion is turning into structure. That is what I want people to experience when they work with me. Hiring someone for a technical project should feel like the problem is getting clearer and the business is getting lighter.